They're always going to compare you against the great heavyweight champs, not necessarily a direct comparison, but nowadays, when they talk about heavyweights, they say, will there ever be another Muhammad Ali?
Two legends, two eras, and one question that has echoed through boxing history. What would happen if Mike Tyson clashed with Muhammad Ali? Imagine the raw power of Tyson's devastating uppercuts colliding with Ali's graceful footwork and unmatched stamina. The brute force of the peekaboo style against the poetic elegance of the butterfly. Fans have debated this for decades, but to uncover the truth, we must look deeper into the moments when their styles were tested by opponents who mirrored the other. It's time to step into the ring and explore one of the greatest what-ifs in the sport's history. The answer lies not just in imagination, but in the fights that define their legacies. Let's break it down. To answer the ultimate question of what would happen if Mike Tyson faced Muhammad Ali, we need more than fantasy. We need evidence. To assess how their legendary styles might fare against each other, we turn to history, specifically to fights where they faced opponents whose boxing styles closely mirrored the other. First, let's see how Tyson's ferocity matched up against a fighter who embodied many of the traits that made Ali such a formidable champion. This is Tyrell Biggs, a fighter often praised for his ability to fight on the outside, relying on his jabs, lateral movements, and maintaining distance, skills that bear a striking resemblance to Ali's legendary butterfly style. Like Ali, Biggs was light on his feet, making him difficult to corner, and he used his reach advantage to control the pace of the fight. He was a master of controlling range, his jab an extension of his defensive game plan. In fact, when you watch Biggs, it's hard not to see echoes of the young Ali. Similar body type, similar movement, and most importantly, a similar way of using distance and footwork to neutralize the power of aggressive fighters. But there was one thing that Biggs lacked that Ali mastered: the psychological warfare, the mental dominance inside the ring. Ali had an unmatched ring IQ and stamina, qualities Biggs never quite reached. But the comparison is undeniable. Biggs was a disciple of Ali's style. Before we jump into the fight, it's important to know that Tyson already had a feud with Biggs. During the selection of the LA 1984 Olympic athletes, the U.S. Olympic Boxing Committee chose Biggs over Tyson, despite Tyson already being a crowd favorite. Tyson also mentioned in his autobiography, Undisputed Truth, that when Tyson came to wish the team good luck, Biggs mocked him by asking, "How are you getting home?" A jab at Tyson being left behind while the team boarded the plane. With that context, let's step into the details of the fight that unfolded. The bell rings, and from the start, it's clear this is going to be a high-stakes battle of styles. Biggs starts with his signature jabs, trying to establish his rhythm. He used his reach and footwork to stay just out of range, cleverly angling his shots to keep Tyson guessing. But Tyson, with his explosive reflexes, counters with his gazelle jab, momentarily halting Biggs' momentum. After eating a few quick jabs, he begins to bob and weave with precision, slipping Biggs' punches. Biggs' lightning-fast head movement helped him avoid Tyson's counter punches, and his lateral movement kept him out of the danger zone. Biggs' strategy seems to be working. As Tyson throws a left, Biggs moves to a right. Tyson changes his stance to throw a right hook, but Biggs escapes with ease. Tyson tries the same pattern again, and Biggs is still able to stay out of danger, maintaining distance. As the fight goes on, Tyson starts to get a hang of Biggs' escape patterns. Tyson then lands a couple of shots as Biggs gets trapped at the corner. But he pushes Tyson off, resuming the fight in the center. He lands a couple of shots on Tyson and gets into a clinch. But a critical moment shifts the tone of the fight. During a clinch, Biggs taunts Tyson. The reaction is immediate. Tyson retaliates with subtle but brutal elbows, earning a warning from the referee. The round ends with Tyson getting a hang of Biggs' patterns, sending a clear message: the storm is coming. As the second round began, Tyson adjusted his approach, jabbing his way inside Biggs' guard. While Biggs' Ali-like head movement initially saved him, his footwork started to falter under Tyson's relentless pressure. Tyson seized the moment, smirking as he exploited Biggs' lowered guard with vicious body shots that paved the way for devastating punches to the head. Biggs, struggling to maintain his butterfly-like movement, became a stationary target. By the later rounds, the fight turned into a brutal showcase of Tyson's dominance. Biggs, now bleeding from a deep cut above his eye, could no longer evade Tyson's onslaught. The butterfly had truly lost its wings. In the 7th round, Tyson delivered a massive left hook, sending Biggs out of the ring. Biggs, showing tremendous heart, got back up. But Tyson wasted no time, delivering a brutal combination that ended the fight, leaving no doubt that his style was too much for Biggs to handle.
What broke him down? Was it just
constantly body punches? When I was hitting him with body punches, and I heard him, actually he was crying in there, making woman gestures like, I can't find it, but I knew that he was breaking down soon.
Tyson decisively dismantled Tyrell Biggs, a fighter who adopted the butterfly style. While Biggs tried to emulate Muhammad Ali's footwork and strategy, he fell short in critical areas. By the 2nd round, his stamina began to fade, and the precise footwork that defined the style disappeared. As Tyson famously said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, and Biggs was no exception. Tyson's relentless power and pressure broke Biggs' rhythm and forced him into survival mode. But here's the key difference. Muhammad Ali was no Tyrell Biggs. Ali's endurance was legendary, his footwork relentless, and his ring IQ unmatched. Where Biggs faltered, Ali thrived, outthinking and outmaneuvering his opponents, even under immense pressure. While Tyson proved that brute force could overwhelm a flawed execution of the butterfly style, the question remains, could he do the same against a master of it? To truly explore this clash of styles, we must look at the other side of the equation. Tyson's style wasn't unique to him. It was a perfected version of the peekaboo technique taught by the great Cus D'Amato. And before Tyson, there was another peekaboo prodigy trained by the same coach, Floyd Patterson. Let's see how Patterson, with his similarities to Tyson, fared against Muhammad Ali. Before Mike Tyson became the face of the peekaboo style, there was Floyd Patterson, a 2-time heavyweight champion and the first to hold the title as the youngest in history, a record Tyson later broke. Both fighters were molded by the legendary Cus D'Amato, showcasing D'Amato's unique ability to shape raw talent into world-class champions. The similarities between Patterson and Tyson are striking. Both were ferocious in the ring, relying on rapid combinations and relentless pressure to overwhelm their opponents. They shared an ability to close the distance quickly and land devastating hooks and uppercuts. But while Patterson and Tyson shared stylistic and technical roots, there were notable differences. Tyson's punches carried far more raw power, making him one of the hardest hitters in boxing history. Patterson, on the other hand, was known for his exceptional speed, arguably surpassing Tyson in that regard. Where Tyson was an unstoppable force of nature, Patterson's approach blended speed and finesse, making him a dynamic yet less physically imposing fighter. Coming off a series of victories and looking to reclaim his status as a dominant force in boxing, Patterson had one major hurdle in his way: Muhammad Ali. Ali faced a version of the peekaboo style years before Tyson would step into the ring. The question is, how did Ali's unmatched ring IQ and stamina fare against Patterson's speed and precision? Let's dive into the Ali versus Patterson fight to uncover the answer. The fight begins with a tactical battle as both fighters try to measure the distance. Patterson is eager to close the gap, but Ali's strategy is crystal clear: let Patterson exhaust himself. As Patterson attempts to close the gap and unleash his punches, Ali skillfully clinches, locking Patterson's neck to reset and returning the fight to his preferred long-range battle. But Ali doesn't stop there. He uses the clinch as an opportunity to trash-talk Patterson, sowing seeds of psychological warfare. Ali's lively footwork keeps him dancing just out of range, his feints adding a layer of frustration for Patterson, making clean punches almost impossible. At one point, Patterson attempts a gazelle hook to close the gap, but Ali masterfully leans back, deflects the blow with his elbow, and escapes the corner effortlessly. The first round ends without significant punches exchanged, but Ali's psychological warfare is already in full swing. As the rounds progress, Ali sticks to his butterfly style, floating on his feet and feinting with expert head movement. Patterson counters with sudden combinations, hoping to disrupt Ali's rhythm. But whenever he closes the distance, Ali evades with flawless head movement, clinches, and tosses Patterson aside like a chess master resetting the board. Meanwhile, Ali peppers Patterson with jabs, scoring points, and keeping the momentum in his favor. Patterson's peekaboo style allows him to avoid some of these shots, but Ali's taunts persist, wearing down Patterson mentally. By the middle rounds, Patterson switches tactics. He throws fewer but more calculated punches, waiting for Ali to make a mistake. His defense holds strong, gracefully avoiding many of Ali's combinations. But the constant barrage of jabs and clever combinations wears Patterson down, and his movements start to lose their earlier fluidity. After a series of sharp punches, Patterson drops to a knee, visibly exhausted, but still refusing to give up. Rising with defiance, he engages in a furious exchange, trading blows with Ali until the bell mercifully halts the round. The later rounds see Patterson battling more on grit than technique. Fatigue has robbed him of his fluidity, while Ali, like a relentless machine, has decoded Patterson's movements. Ali's combinations land with precision, chipping away at Patterson's resolve. Finally, in the 12th round, Patterson, though courageous to the end, is overwhelmed by Ali's unyielding assault. The referee steps in, calling a halt to a fight. Ali triumphs, and Patterson leaves the ring a warrior who gave everything, but ultimately fell to the masterful tactics and psychological dominance of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali decisively dismantled Floyd Patterson, showcasing his dominance over Patterson's famed peekaboo style. However, while Patterson was a remarkable fighter, he was fundamentally different from Mike Tyson in several ways. Patterson lacked the raw punching power that Tyson used to obliterate his opponents. His movements, though graceful and calculated, didn't possess the relentless ferocity and animalistic aggression that defined Tyson's approach in the ring. Additionally, Patterson lacked the ability to adapt during fights. Ali neutralized Patterson's tactics with clinical precision, but against Tyson's explosiveness and unpredictability, the story could have been very different. Now that we've explored the styles of both fighters and how they fared against opponents with similar techniques, let's break down the key parameters and scenarios in which either Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson could stand a chance against the other. Ali's most significant weapon would be his unmatched footwork and ring IQ. His ability to stay light on his feet, move fluidly, and dictate the pace of the fight could frustrate Tyson. Ali's reach advantage and lightning-fast jabs would serve to keep Tyson at bay, forcing him to work harder to close the distance. And then, there's Ali's legendary mental warfare. From trash talk to psychological games in the ring, Ali could potentially rattle Tyson, breaking his rhythm and focus. Add to that Ali's ability to absorb punishment, having survived wars with powerhouses like George Foreman and Ernie Shavers, and you have a fighter who could outlast Tyson's ferocious early round assaults. Also, Ali's unmatched stamina could be devastating if the fight goes on till later rounds. On the flip side, Tyson's raw power, explosive speed, and relentless aggression could spell doom for Ali. Tyson's peekaboo style would allow him to slip past Ali's jabs and close the distance to deliver his signature combinations. Unlike Patterson, Tyson had the adaptability and unpredictability to adjust his attack mid-fight, making him a dangerous opponent for even the most skilled tactician. Tyson's ability to corner his opponents and land devastating body shots could wear Ali down, neutralizing his mobility. And with Tyson's unparalleled ferocity, one clean punch could change the course of the fight in an instant. In a showdown between these two giants, it would come down to who could impose their style. If Tyson were able to land his power punches early, Ali would be in serious trouble. Tyson's aggression and power would test Ali's chin, and if he couldn't avoid those devastating hooks and uppercuts, it could be a short night. On the other hand, if Ali could stay elusive, use his footwork to keep Tyson at bay, and withstand the early onslaught, Tyson's stamina would eventually become a factor. Ali's endurance would allow him to keep his rhythm and wear Tyson down, using his superior ring IQ to exploit Tyson's weaknesses and avoid the heavy shots. Ultimately, it would be a battle of wills. Tyson's power versus Ali's brilliance. Who would stand victorious in this legendary clash of styles? That's a question we'll never truly answer, but the possibilities are endless, and the debate will continue to fuel boxing fans for generations to come.